guys, welcome to another exciting video. And this is an educational video of a trade breakdown, EURJPY, that I took. I've been trading it for a while now. I want to buttress more on the trade I took yesterday, 25th of July, and today, 26th of July, which is actually still currently running. All right, so from what we can see, EURJPY on the higher time frame is actually bearish. Price forms or is forming a series of lower highs and lower lows. So this move that we have going up here is actually a retracement into a very nice zone that could push it back to come and induce this low. Of course, I've told us time stop number that once price is trending, if price is trending downward, the lows are actually liquidity. They are external liquidity because price needs to obey structure, forming lower highs and lower lows. So you want to be careful buying around this area. But for now, we actually sell biased, right? So we had, that being said, we have this very important flip over zone right here. We had this demand. And of course, the last supply that happened before price broke this demand is actually this supply. So this was the last supply we had before price formed a new low. In fact, even took out this last external liquidity, and price is actually back there. So let's go to a more lower time frame to see more narrative of the market. And of course, my Asian range indicator is on because I use it a lot to spot for Asian ranges and to actually know my time zones, my Asian range, my London and my New York. A lot happens with time and price. All right. So this is the entire zone I was looking out to sell. This is the entire zone I was looking out to sell. But at the same time, coming down to a lower time frame, we give you more precise and smaller entries. So I came to as low as my 15 minutes, and I spotted something very, very nice. I spotted something very nice that price could actually use and sell. Right. So it was this zone right here. This week that we had is just a trap. It's just liquidity to validate the supply up here, and that was the last point of mitigation that is left for price to actually keep moving to the downside. So that was a very nice zone for me, and I wanted to see what price would do, or the narrative that price would build towards that area. And once this place is mitigated, the next area I'm targeting is this low, because price needs to come and form a lower low on the higher time frame. So let's see what price did. So we can see that this is my zone. So let's see what price did right there. These were part of last week's trade. Right? So price even created more liquidity before that area. And besides, there were a lot of trappings yesterday. I mean, last week rather, there were a lot of trappings on EURJPY, of which definitely still prevail in the market because we understand what price is trying to do. So look at the line I drew on the 1 hour, but this is the refined 15-minute zone. So I'm just waiting for what price will do. And of course, so I think there was a news release around that area, and it was ECB news, and price mitigated nicely. So I was in this trade last week, and it was a very nice trade that I took. Very nice. All right. So price mitigating this area, this was the last point of mitigation that we needed for price to now move as bearish as possible. So we just need to be targeting right now at important zones. All right. So I had here marked out, and I wanted price to just break it so that I can actually validate whatever next entry that I want to take, either my flip zone or price retracing back to premium. So let's see what price did here. This is what price did. All right. I need us to be very detailed with what we're doing. So price came and traded down. So right, price came, obeyed the demand, and did what? And traded down. So I actually have this in mind as my flip zone. You know, when a demand or a supply is taken out, look for the immediate demand and supply with respect to the case that actually caused the price flip. So this is my price flip. So if price doesn't obey this, probably I will need higher POIs, maybe somewhere around here, or even back to the extreme. But you want to start considering where flip happens for major structural point, and of course consider your time frames as well, or your time zone. So this was formed around New York area. So let's play price and see what price actually did. So right, price entered into an Asian range. And another thing that we had here was that liquidity was engineered before this zone. Liquidity was engineered before this zone. So, and I was just hoping for, this was Asian range of a particular day. I think that was on Thursday last week. So I was hoping that after Asian range, price will come out of Asian range. Then the London volume will mitigate this POI, inducing this liquidity, and price could move. And so I had here as my zone, which was just a few pips. We had that as my zone right there, and of course we targeted lower. And let's actually see what price did. So let's see what price did. So price mitigated that area after inducing this liquidity and went down. Very nice. Price went down. It was a perfect mitigation. All right. That was a perfect mitigation, and we traded down. I think over like 100 plus pips was gotten from that trade, right? So that was last week, Friday. Now there was a zone I had in mind. Price inducing Asian high and taking out this liquidity, then falling off. Of course, we just need to look for the more narrative that price presented. Now, looking at this Asian low, this was a demand. Of course, it is Asian low, so I wouldn't want to respect it that much. Now, this is a demand that was meant to be respected. But what happened? The demand was taken out. Now, look at the immediate supply that was formed before the demand was taken out. This was the immediate supply. So I had there marked out for a possible trade opportunity. I had them marked out for a possible trade opportunity. That was on Friday. I'm hoping that price would come there and give me a narrative for me to want to sell. So let's actually see what price did. So price, same thing all over again. Price came close to it before selling. So liquidity before a zone validates that zone. So anytime price engineers liquidity before a zone, in fact, it gives me more confidence that that zone is actually going to be utilized. So this is liquidity right here that was engineered before this supply that took out this demand. All right, so let's see what price did. Let's see what price did. Okay, so let's hit the play button. And of course, price traded down. Price traded down, right? Price traded down. I think I need 15 minutes so that the price could be fast. All right, so I had price move. So this was the Asian range or from when market opened on Sunday. I think this is July 25th when market opened. This was the Asian range. So I was hoping that when we wake up during New York, we could have a possible mitigation and see how to actually drive. So New York volume push price higher. Very nice. I don't usually trust Asian basis, so I just needed to be sure that I want to continue the sell. All right. So let's go back to our 5 minutes and see what happened there. Some people might actually want to maybe take an aggressive entry from here, which is actually not bad as well. But I want to see an intent from that zone, and price will now give me an original entry. So what happened? Price mitigated that area. It was a sniper entry. Price mitigated that area. So price mitigated that area, very nice. But of course, that was not my entry. So I went to as low as 1 minute. So that was not my entry. Now, immediately price mitigated that area. That was an intent for me. So for what I can see here, price has taken a major low. Price has taken a low right here. So this was a good intent from an area of interest. Price has taken some other lows that we might want to call structural lows. Price has taken this low. So this was a very good intent for me. All right. So coming down to my 1 minute, this is a zone that I actually want to sell now. All right. Let me reduce this. So this is a zone that I actually want to sell this trade. This looks very okay for me because from the narrative that EURJPY have been presenting, it's not even leaving any liquidity to the upside before moving down. But just in case, this might be a liquidity before the zone, because I said liquidity always validates zone. The entirety of the area above this liquidity point is my POI. So I wanted to see what price will do. And that was where I had my first entry. But of course, there was a particular entry I had on my 30 seconds. On my 30 seconds, I think, which was somewhere around here, right? This was the last supply on 30 seconds. But at the same time, the 1 minute looked very enticing to me, very, very enticing to me. So I had my limit set right there, had my limit set, of which my stop loss is now just above this high. So you can see it's much reduced compared to the initial bigger stop loss that I had here. And so of course, price mitigating that area. Okay, let's see what price actually did before the movement. So I had there as my zone, right? And this was formed during New York. This was a New York mitigation. So let's see what price did. And price tagged me in. So price tagged me in. This was a perfect entry. You can see my entry there on the screen. Yeah, you can see my entry there on the screen. Price tagged me in. So what is my possible take profit? Coming back to the higher time frame, let me come back to my 15 minutes. Coming back to the higher time frame where I was targeting price is to actually come and induce all this liquidity here. So my final target is about 125 pips. That is even on the 15 minutes. If I were to go to the 4 hour, my target is actually going to be this low, right? Which is going to be over 314 pips. But as a day trader, I always like securing profits daily, all right? So that was the mitigation I had. Once again, look at my entry right there on your screen. And let's see what price did. Price definitely traded lower, right? Price definitely traded lower, okay? Price definitely traded lower. So price definitely traded lower. And of course, I was still on this trade. And I'm looking for possible areas to actually continue the sell, okay? So this was, this trade was taken yesterday, which is 25th of July. And price did about, price did about 63 pips, and we entered into Asian range of what? Of the next day, which is today that we are in now, which is today. So, so price entered into the Asian range, and I was waiting to see the narrative that price would give me for me to actually want to sell, right? For me to actually want to sell. So let's see the narrative that price gave. Okay. Let's see the narrative that price gave. Now we had an Asian high right here. We had an Asian high right here, and I wanted to see what price would do. Of course, this could actually be a liquidity point for me, right? This could be a liquidity point for me. So when price grabs the Asian liquidity, I would definitely want to see what entry that I might get. But the zone that I have above the Asian high, was this zone right here. The move that I had above the Asian high was this zone right here, and I was actually willing to risk an entry there. I was willing to risk an entry there and drive price to the downside. Okay, I was ready to risk an entry there and drive price to the downside. So let's see the narrative that price gave and how we're tagged in. All right. So this was my Asian range, of which I knew that price could mitigate this area of interest here and actually give us a very nice intent and see how we are going to sell. All right. So let's see what price did. Price. So upon London open, price mitigated this area. So this was London open, price mitigated this area. So, and when price mitigated this area, what happened? Price actually took out structure. Price took out structure, isn't it? So I had this to be the area where I want to sell. Let me go to a more lower time frame. I think 3 minutes. So I had this as the area where I want to sell. But at the same time, I was being very careful because this trade was actually called live, and it took out my mentees. Sorry, it took out the subscribers in my Signal channel, but I was still tagged in the trade just because I probably presumed what price might want to do. So our stop loss was just about 7 pips. But then risking about 10 pips is not bad as well. Risking about 10 pips is not bad. And price has already given me the intent that I'm looking for. And of course, I'm still going to drive down, right? I'm still going to drive down here. I'm still going to drive down. So, so that was it, 10 pips stop loss for like 100 pips profit. And price actually tagged in and started falling. So if you look at this, price did something a little bit tricky here because the stop loss I gave in my Signal channel was very tight. So it was spread that took us out. Price took out the stop loss with just less than 1 pip, with just 0.7 pips, and majority of people were taken out. But I was still tagged in because I knew price could probably want to do that. So the stop loss was very, very small. That was the reason why it took them out. But I was still in the trade. And what happened? Price started trading downward. Okay. Price started trading downward. So you can see that price has even hit my take profit of over 100 pips. And I've taken major partials. I've taken over 80% of the trade. And of course, this is where we are currently. So you can check my screen and see my entries and see that the trade is still currently running. It's still currently running. Okay. So, and with respect to the higher time frame, with respect to 4 hour, we are still going down. We are heading for this external liquidity here. So we are heading for this external liquidity here, which is about around 283 pips. So I've taken major partials and I'll leave the remaining position to run. And as price gives me more narrative, I can now stack in more position to drive down. So I hope you learned from this video. Ensure you subscribe to my channel, comment, share this video, join my free Telegram community, and enjoy yourself. Thank you very much. I remain Mr. Big FX.